after I'd gotten married and I was sober and my husband was sober and bought a house, got a new job, was traveling, had a baby, and I was just obviously too busy to go to meetings. And so I got further and further away from meetings and my sponsor, and I stopped going to meetings altogether. And my life got a lot worse. I started doing some of the same behavior I did when I was drinking. I was lying, I was cheating, I was stealing. I was not drinking, but I was miserable. I was lonely. At this point, my father was dying. My marriage was falling apart, and I was being faced with raising my son on my own, and I just wasn't feeling equipped to do that, and I was really lonely. And one day, the thought dropped in that maybe I ought to go to a meeting. And so I did. I went to a meeting that night, and my life changed again and got different and got better. But I really learned that to have a quality of life, I need to stay plugged in to sobriety, stay plugged into AA, and stay in my community. Because I need the repetition and the reminders of how to live life on life's terms. Definitely have had some challenges. When I was about 12 years sober, my father died. He was an alcoholic, so I did grow up in an alcoholic home. But he was 12 years sober when he got sick with cancer and died. And even knowing that he was getting sick and wasn't going to live, he didn't drink. And so he showed me that we just don't drink no matter what. After my father died, I was married, and I married an alcoholic. He was sober when we got married, and we had a child, and my sweet son. And I ended up raising my son by myself. And with the genetics, odds were against him, and as there's a long line of alcoholism on both his father's and my side of the family. And my son became an alcoholic and a drug addict. And we still had a really good relationship, but he really struggled with the disease of alcoholism. He was in and out of treatment, in and out of jail, crisis after crisis after crisis. And I was going to Al-Anon, which helped, but it still didn't solve the problem. One time after he got out of a treatment facility, within a week, he overdosed at home in the bathroom, and I had to do CPR on him to bring him back. And boy, I was yelling at him, "Don't you do this to me, I'm gonna come get you, Cody." And he came to as the medics got there, and it's like, when he came to, it's like, "There's nothing wrong here, Ma." And things got progressively worse after that. He spent a lot of the next year homeless, going from place to place, jail to jail, treatment facility to treatment facility. And he ended up in Oregon, and he had periods of sobriety. He was doing really well. He was living in a sober house. He had an interview for a job. He had a sponsor. And he decided to get high one more time, just one more time. And he overdosed and went into a coma. And the police called me, and so I got down to where he was in Oregon, about 2:30 in the morning. And he was in ICU, and the doctors told me there was nothing they could do. They had to say that several times, "There's nothing we can do," and I didn't understand it. Didn't understand what that meant. And it finally became clear that he'd had a massive stroke that had eliminated any possibility of him coming back. So I stayed with him for the last 3 days of his life in ICU. And I had to make the decision to take him off life support and let him go. I bargained with all my heart with God, take me, not him. Do anything. I'd done so much to try and save his life. Being there, not being there, hard love, everything. And there was no more options. I had to let him go. And he passed away. He was 26. It was the day before his 27th birthday. And he died. I didn't know how I was going to go on after that, because we were so close. And he and my mom and I were so close. I just went into kind of a time warp and grief and started going into a depression. It was really shock more than anything. We got home and had the funeral, and the day after the funeral I had to take my mom to the doctor. And the cancer that had been detected but in remission was now going into high gear. And so I took care of her for the next 9 months until she passed. And then I went into a depression and just had to put one foot in front of the other. Keep doing what I knew to do, which was keep going to meetings even though I didn't want to. I had to talk about the anguish and the grief of my son's death. I had to cry in meetings and just admit my powerlessness. And along the way I'd learned that I just don't drink no matter what. And I knew that was true, and that what I needed to do was let other people know, no matter what happens, even if our worst fears. Like I said in that early sobriety game, I'd lost my husband, I'd lost my home to the IRS, lost both my parents, lost my son, lost jobs, and I still didn't have to drink. Now that's a real miracle for somebody who drank when they didn't want to. Drank anyway. For me to be sober is really a miracle. And I'm so grateful for it. I still have a sponsor. I have sponsees. They have sponsees. And I just got to show up and keep doing them, taking the next indicated step, and do prayer and meditation. Every day, and find things to be grateful for. So grateful that I'm sober, and I'm so grateful that there are places like Lakeside-Milam for people to go to now, where they can learn about the disease of alcoholism, where they can get some time away from their environment and get a chance, have a chance to live life. And have a good life.